What's up, everyone? All right, so here we are finishing the 12th green day in a row. I couldn't be more happy. Now, yesterday, you'll remember I had a pretty close call. I was up, finished the day up $1,300, but I was down almost $4,000 before digging my way out of the hole. So I knew that today was going to be risky. You know, after having 3 days of kind of declining profits, with yesterday being almost red, I knew there was a really good chance that today could be a red day, and so I set the goal pre-market. I'm only going to try to make $500. I'm not going to be aggressive. Well, we ended up having a great setup. I jumped into it right out of the gates, risking only $300 with a 2,000 share position. It squeezed up. I ended up adding another 3,000 shares, adjusting my stop to break even, meaning I had 5,000 shares and zero risk, and boom, made $1,700 in the first 30 seconds of the day. First minute of the day, I'm up $1,700. Got back in, made another 1,000, up 2,800. One more trade, up $3,500 in that one on that one stock. So that was a great way to start the day. Then from that cushion, I was like, okay, I don't want to finish today with anything less than $2,000, which means at most I could take 2 trades, risking $750 on both of them. If I lose on both of them, I'm done for the day. Took a couple more trades, finishing the day up $5,400. So actually the biggest green day of the week, and I am feeling good about that. So we're gonna go into tomorrow, hopefully with one more green day, but you know what? Tomorrow, if I'm green, will be Friday and my 13th consecutive green day. A little spooky. We'll see if we can do it. Finish up the month with one more green trade. That's the goal. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed the recap today. I'm also going to announce right now, I'll say it during the recap, that we are going to be hosting a live workshop this coming Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to hang out with me for 2.5, 3 hours and learn about how I find stocks to trade, how I manage risk, and how I find my entry points, register for the workshop. All right, see you guys there. And if you have any questions, comments, leave them below, and I'll answer them later this afternoon. All right, everyone. So we're going to do our midday market recap here and go over the trades from this morning. This ended up being a really solid day, up $5,422.59. I had actually made it official in my calendar, writing down $4,200, but took one more trade, and now I'm up $5,400. So nicely done. Complimenting myself, but in any case, it's good to give yourself a pat on the back sometimes. 12th consecutive green day, and about $60,000 or so in the last 12 days. This has been a great hot streak. I haven't had one of these in a while, so I'm, you gotta give yourself a pat on the back when you get that hot streak, because during the depths of a cold streak, it's easy to just feel kind of like, oh God. I haven't broken $1,000 in a week, and all I'm doing is grinding, and I've been trading for the last 10 days, and I've only made $1,000. I've been there. I've had weeks where I lose $7,000 on Monday, and then I'm spending the next 10 days digging myself out of the hole. And then I have stretches like this where I'm just raking in the profit and I'm crushing it. This is what I did last November. Last November, I made $81,269.25. Last December, I made $84,000. Last January, I made $117,000. Those 3 months were, a 3-month hot streak that was a bigger hot streak than I've ever had. And there's no reason to think that my growth as a trader and, just my skill getting better in the last year, that I won't have a hot streak like that will be even bigger than last year's. And this is the time of year that I'm kind of expecting it. November has been pretty hot. We didn't get a DRYS or LFIN type of move. Those of you who have been trading for a few years, you remember a couple of these stocks that have gone totally bananas. LFIN made a move last year from literally $5.50 up to $142 in 3 days. It was insane. The year before that, we had DRYS. Over the course of like 3 days, it's since had a bunch of reverse splits and has dropped down a lot. But if you go back on the daily chart, I'm having to go back a little ways here. Here we go. You can see this massive spike. It just, went up, 5,000%. It did come back down, but this was in November. So, the last 2 years, we've had a couple of really big November moves. This year, we didn't really have that. Well, we still have tomorrow, but we didn't have it. And I don't know. I guess we're just we're seeing good momentum, but not that crazy multi-day momentum that I kind of thought we might see this month. So today I came in doing the same thing I always do, breaking down the watch list. Reminder for those of you guys just tuning in on Facebook or just watching this recap on YouTube. We had an amazing workshop about a week and a half ago on Monday night. It was a Monday 7 o'clock workshop where I spent about 2.5, 3 hours going through my strategy, really sort of pulling back the curtains and breaking it down, how I find stocks to trade, how I know where to get in, where to get out, and how I manage risks so my winners are bigger than my losers. So I'd love to have you guys who haven't attended one of these workshops before register for the Encore, which is going to be this coming Monday, the 3rd. All right, so there are a lot of people that didn't get a chance to attend the workshop because we only announced it that Sunday that we were going to do this tomorrow. So, here we are Thursday. I'm giving you guys 5 days notice that this coming Monday at 7 p.m. I'm going to host a workshop. So those of you watching on Facebook and YouTube, we'll put the link in the description below. Hopefully we'll see you guys there. Now, someone on YouTube earlier today, his nickname was OG, commented that trading is a lot like boxing. And I'm gonna use his analogy, but credit him for coming up with it. And what he said was that for 45 minutes in the ring, you've got to train for 45,000 hours. For 10 minutes in the ring, you've got to train for 10,000 hours. And this morning, in the first 1 minute of the day, 1 minute into the day, let's scroll down here, I got into TNXP at 705 and was selling it right up here at 774, and within 40 seconds, within actually 30 seconds, I had made over $1,700. And think about all the years of studying that I've had to put in to get to the point where in 1 minute I can make almost $1,800. By the end of the first hour, by 10:30, I'm up $5,000. And no, I don't do it every day. I mean, my average is $2,200 a day for the last 218 days of this year. So I've been doing pretty well. $5,000 is above the average. I'll have some days that are a little below the average. But it took a long time to get to the point where I could do this consistently. And that's because, for the most part, I had to learn it all myself. And I didn't have anyone that I was able to kind of model my strategy after. And you guys have such an advantage in the fact that you're able to take the blueprint and the framework that I give you, and you just need to learn the strategy. It's not going to work for everyone. You've got to have an aptitude. You've got to be quick. You've got to want to make it happen. You've got to be motivated. But my blueprint, my strategy works, and I prove it every single day. Obviously, some of you guys have focused more on Mike's blueprint, his strategy. He trades large cap stocks, Apple, Netflix, Tesla. And he does really well with those stocks. There's not one single strategy for being a profitable trader. There's probably almost as many strategies as there are traders, in fact. But most strategies will fall into one of a couple of small kind of groups, being momentum, being counter trend, being based on swing trading, being based on options trading, commodities, crypto, etc. And my strategy is based on trading stocks between $1 and $10. These are great because even with a really tiny account of as little as $500, you can trade them. So this morning, my job was to look for, try to find one or maybe two stocks under $10 that I thought had the potential to make a 20 to 30% move. So the gap scanner here is what I use every single day. This is how I find my needle in the haystack. There's over 10,000 different stocks and financial instruments you could be trading. How do you narrow it down to the one or two each day that has the potential to move 20 to 30% and therefore give you a good opportunity as a day trader? And so I use this scanner right here. And from all of those stocks, I've narrowed it down to a list this morning of about, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So it looks like probably about 35 stocks. So we've done a really good job narrowing it down, and I'm going to narrow it down even further. So what I'm going to do now that I've got this pool of stocks, this group right here, is I'm going to take out all the ones that have low volume. Now, a stock that's on the scanner, I could create a filter on the scanner set to filter out anything with low volume. I could filter out anything that is not in my price range. You know, a stock, for instance, that's 50 cents, or a stock that's $84. But I like to see what's happening in the market. I don't want to have tunnel vision. So I look at the whole market, knowing it's still only like 35 stocks. And then from there, I narrow it down. So right away, I knew Abercrombie & Fitch would not be on my watch list. So that one's no go. This one, the volume was too light, 250 shares. This one, the volume was too light. This one's too expensive. This one was actually a maybe. So let me just, no. Maybe volume is a little light. We'll come back to it. Too cheap, too expensive. Volume's too light. Float is too high at 80 million shares. Volume's also too light. Price is too cheap. Volume's too light, too cheap. Float is too high at 133 million shares. Float's too high, not enough volume. And so pretty much what we've done is we've narrowed it down to one stock. And this happens to be our leading gapper today. All right, so TNXP. This might sound familiar because I traded this stock yesterday and lost $1,000 on it. I still finished the day up, what was it? $1,300 yesterday, which was not bad. But TNXP yesterday popped up and then ended up doing a kind of false breakout, dropping down. So anyways, I lost money on it yesterday. But then this morning, all of a sudden I see it at the top of the scanner up 92%. This meets my criteria. Okay, the price is between $1 and $10, $7.30. It's gapping up at least 5%, which is my minimum threshold. It's got above average volume today, already 1.7 million shares of volume pre-market. It's got a float of 7.8 million shares, being below the $10 million share float that we kind of prefer. So check. And now what's moving it higher? There's a catalyst. All right, so this has news this morning, and that's what we needed to really help propel the stock higher. So on the daily chart, I saw that the first resistance point was at, a high of 988. Okay, so it was actually 988 right there. Now you'll notice that it hit a high today of 960, almost double topping at that resistance point. Not surprising. 14 million shares of volume. I've got $3,500 of profit on this stock. When I look back at my trading metrics, one of the things that you'll notice is that I do better on stocks with more volume. There was one today that I'll show you just for a second, AGE, that made a big move from $1.50 all the way up to $4.20, but the volume today is only 168,000 shares. It's very thinly traded, very light volume, and I don't usually do well on stocks like that. Although they can move quickly and they can be very volatile, I typically, that's just not my wheelhouse. Now, I know this because I look at my metrics, I look at them on a monthly basis. So if I look at my detailed trading profits, over $1 million of profits here. And if I look at instrument, I can see, I believe it's instrument, distribution of profits by instruments volume. So I make the most money on stocks between 10 and 25 million shares of volume on the day, and TNXP is going to fall into that category with 14 million shares right now. So I make more money with more volume. Occasionally it'll be a light volume stock that I make a little on. I actually don't lose money in any volume category, and that's mostly because, it shows that I do have a little bit of loss here. This is distribution of trades. This is my profit. Okay, so here's where I actually do the most, between 5 and 10 million, a little bit less here. TNXP will help boost that up. But I actually lose money, as it turns out, below 500,000 shares of volume, and a stock like Age would fit into that category. When you know these metrics about yourself, it allows you to be a more informed trader. So of course, one of the things that we do is for all of you guys who are trading in our simulator, we aggregate all of your trading data so you can have that information at your fingertips. You can know what type of stocks you trade best. If you don't know that information, how are you ever going to become a better, more successful, more profitable trader? So those of you guys using the sim, I'll get logged into this real quick. If you go to, you can add a widget if you'd like, and the three that I have are my aptitudes, my profit trifecta, and my weekly net profit. I don't trade in the sim very often, but if I go to, I'll let those charts load, and then I'll go to my aptitudes, and it'll show you that kind of high level view of my trading data. This is what you need in order to always try to become a better trader. You know, to review your metrics and work to improve those numbers. I do it every single month. The end of the month, I review my metrics. I ask myself, what am I doing that's working? What's right? What's wrong? So you can see it all right here. So we give you this information, profitability by volume, profitability by price, etc., so you can make informed decisions. All right, so anyways, TNXP, it's on the gap scanner, the bell rings, and I'm gonna go down to a 10-second chart, which I don't use for trading, but I use just for explaining to you guys, you know, what I'm doing sometimes, because some of these trades are gonna be really quick. So let's pull back here. Okay, so just before the bell, it popped up to a high of $7.40, right up here. It then drops down to a low of $6.90. This is exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to pull back and then surge back up and give me a red to green move. So as it dropped down and then broke back over 7, I took a starter of 2,000 shares at 705, risking only actually $300. I risked $300. As it surges up and breaks through high of day of 25, I press shift 1 to buy 3,000 shares. I got filled at 729, so now I've got 5,000 shares at an average price of about 718. I go ahead and sell half up 10 cents from the ad, and now boom, you know, I've booked like $500 of profit or 700. I sell more at 758, more at 779, more at 774. And so right there in that period of 30 seconds, I made 1,800 bucks. This move went up to a high of 790. It pulls back right here, and then I get in for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high, adding, actually, hold up. I'm looking at the 10-second chart. I need to pull this back. All right, so now let's switch to the 1 minute chart. Okay, there we go. Okay, so it ends up pulling back and then doing a second red to green move. And as it surges back up here, looking to double top of breakthrough 90, I go ahead and add starter at 84, adding at 95, only got a partial fill of my order because it was moving so fast, and then flipped shares on the ask at 799, 807, 802, and 819 to take some profit. I then got back in on this 1 minute micro pullback. As you can see right here, the high was 840. I jumped in at 37, doubled at 49, and was selling this. Boom, actually literally got a fill at almost at high of day. I mean, that was lucky. I'll admit it was lucky because it just spiked up there. I put out 3 more orders and they didn't fill, and then I sold on the bid at 71 and 56. So, you know, this one just ended up being really nice. 3 good opportunities, 3 green trades. So I feel good about that. All right, so that's TNXP. And that was the only trade I took in the main account there for the first 45 minutes of the day, or for the first 15 minutes of the day. Then I switch gears. We see RLM pop up. This one I was a little unsure about. It squeezed up to 415. I could tell it was about to get halted. There was an opportunity for me to add going into the halt, but I didn't take that opportunity. Here's my profit in my IRA account, by the way. I didn't take the opportunity. I kind of just let it go without me. But as it came out of the halt, I went ahead and jumped in. So it resumes from the halt, and I jumped in at 475 and 534, trying to take 6,000 shares, but only filling 1,000. It resumes, and I'm selling at 550, 540, Yeah, and that was it. I tried to sell at 97. It did hit a high of 98, it looks like, but it didn't get filled up there. So I ended up making 60 cents per share, or $609 on 1,000 shares, which was not bad. The TNXP positions, you can see them right here, the share size. Mostly smaller positions. Really wasn't super aggressive. 4,000 shares there. All right, so that got me up to plus 4,200 on the day. The 35, 36 plus the 600. And then we had ADIL pop up. ADIL squeezes up, gets halted going up, opens higher, and then comes right back down, and I sort of wrote it off. But you know what? It ended up continuing. And I should have gotten back in, or should have gone for it a little more aggressively over 320 or 305, but I didn't. It then surges up, and as it was getting closer to 4, I could see that I thought it was about to get halted. You can see LULD here at 409. The way you can get that on your charts, you can only get this on Sterling and Lightspeed. You go to level 2, you say highlight specific market makers, click the maker, type in star, and then LULD, okay, and then you color it as you'd like. On Lightspeed, you can do the same thing. These are already there, they're just not colored. On Lightspeed, you go to settings, highlights, go to all, and then type LULD, choose your color and click add, and it'll be there for all symbols. This tells you when the stock is about to get halted, limit up, limit down on volatility. All right, so as I saw it was about to get halted, I went ahead and jumped in my IRA account. Took a starter at 382 and tried to double, but I ran out of buying power. All right, so I was out of buying power. I wasn't able to double at $4. You know, it is what it is. And so I just sold at 418 and 417. It ended up hitting a high of 426, but I took my profit. I bought 3,000 shares in my main account, getting only a partial fill at 405, adding at 17, and selling at 19 and 21. If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.